This episode is brought to you by our good friends at NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. I'm sure by now you've all gotten back into your Sunday routines, but they could be even better. With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get the most live NFL games all in one place, every game, every Sunday. And you can even watch up to 4 different games at once with multi-view, one of my favorite inventions of this decade. It's exactly what you need to catch all the action. Make your Sundays more magical. And also, YouTube TV is great. I got it this year. It's awesome. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
The Two-Footed Podcast is brought to you by EPLindex.com and our presenting sponsor, Liberty Shield. Liberty Shield is a VPN provider. A virtual privacy network allows you to go online, change your location, access things you're geo-blocked from, while keeping your data safe. So, as an example, if you are a UK expat and want access to BBC iPlayer, to watch Match of the Day, or ITV Hub, or all 4, when you get that message that says this content is not available in your location, a Liberty Shield VPN gets you around that block, allows you to watch whatever you want on those services, while also keeping your data safe. And it goes further than that. It allows you to open up Netflix's entire library by just changing your IP address. Liberty Shield is the #1 rated VPN provider on Trustpilot with 5-star ratings across the board. So go to libertyshield.com right now, use the code EPL25 and get either the hardware package or the software package. The hardware package is a router that you plug into your existing router, and any item you want to change the IP address on, be it your phone or your television, you connect that to the new Liberty Shield router. All other items can remain connected to your existing router. There's also a software package, which is instantly downloadable to your device, and you can get using straight away. Again, libertyshield.com, EPL25 for 25% off at checkout. We're also brought to you by Home of Hopcroft, a giftware and homeware company located in Scotland but shipping worldwide. Check out homeofhopcroft.co.uk and do check out the EPL Index and Anfield Index shops, which you'll find on Etsy. Use the codes EPL10 or RED10 for 10% off at checkout. And lastly, do remember to check out A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. That podcast is on this feed before every Premier League match week. And then the EPL Roundtable, hosted by Kevin DeVries, on its own EPL Roundtable feed. So just search EPL Roundtable in your podcast device. And that's out after every match week. Now, on with the show. What's good, boys and girls? Two-Footed Podcast. Today is Wednesday. It is the 14th of August. Hope you're all well and having a pleasant day. Top-level football quickly approaching. Not only the Premier League back this weekend, but also other leagues starting to come back too. So what I thought we'd do is we'd take a trip around Europe, have a look at the main leagues, see what's happening this weekend, and also take a look at the top clubs in those leagues and just what they've done in the transfer market thus far. So let's start with Serie A, which does come back this weekend. Games Saturday, Sunday and Monday. So Saturday, 2 5:30 kickoffs. Genoa host Inter and Parma host Fiorentina in what is a proper nostalgic battle for mid-90s, late 90s supremacy. The 7:45 kickoffs then, it is Milan versus Torino and Empoli versus Monza. Then on Sunday at 5:30, Verona play Napoli. and Bologna play Udinese. At 7:45, it's Cagliari, Roma, Lazio, Venezia. And then on Monday at 5:30, Lecce versus Atalanta. And then 7:45, Juve versus Como, which should be really interesting. Obviously, Como up into the division under Cesc Fabregas. Juve, a lot of business this summer. New manager, Thiago Motta, did very well with Bologna last year. A lot of pressure on him to succeed at Juve. They've backed him significantly thus far. Looks like they'll continue to do so. So that is the match week 1 slate. Now, in terms of transfers, so Inter made the Davide Frattesi deal permanent, signed Josip Martinez, signed Carlos Augusto, signed Marko Arnautovic on a permanent deal after having him on loan, and then brought in Piotr Zielinski and Mehdi Taremi on permanent free transfers. AC Milan, Strahinja Pavlovic in at centre-back. That's a really good get. I think they now have 3 really good centre-backs in him, Tomori, and Malik Thiaw. So maybe one leaves, we'll see. They signed Emerson Royal, they signed Alvaro Morata, and they signed Alex Jimenez from Real Madrid's academy, a young up-and-coming left-back, obviously with an eye on a successor for Theo Hernandez. Juve, Douglas Luiz, Kefren Turam, Juan Cabal, Michele Di Gregorio, the goalkeeper coming in from Monza, loan with an obligation to buy. They're also looking for a centre-back. They tried to get Todibo. That one fell through. We'll see who they go for next. Kalulu from Milan has been mentioned. He's sort of out of the mix at Milan. I think he's a better right-back than centre-back, and I also think Juve need some help at right-back, but we'll see. Town Koopmeiners looks likely to end up there as well. Don't really like their window. Sold Sula, sold Husen. These are players they should have been keeping. These are players that are, in my opinion, better than what they'll buy. So I'd have been keeping both of them. Atalanta, Retegui comes in from Genoa. Tough one to lose as a Genoa fan. The Ketelier move becomes permanent. They signed Ben Godfrey, and Ibrahim Sulemana arrives from Cagliari to give them another body in midfield with the likely departure of Koopmeiners. They also bring in Nicolo Zaniolo on a loan with an obligation to buy. Bologna obviously lost a number of players, including Calafiori and Xerxes. They bring in Delinga from Toulouse, Cambiaggi from Atalanta, Holm from Spezia. He was on loan at Atalanta last year. Ehrlich from Sassuolo. Remu Freuler deal becomes permanent. Jens Odgaard from Alkmaar. And Naim Biar, a young central midfielder, comes in from the Stade Reims academy. They also signed Juan Miranda on a free, which is a nice bit of business. Roma, Artem Dovbek comes in, Matthias Sula comes in. They also signed Enzo Lafi, and Angelo becomes a permanent deal. They also signed Samuel Dahl, another left back, so curious to see who starts there. And they bring in Matt Ryan, the former Brighton goalkeeper, on a free. Lazio make the Guendouzi deal permanent, bring in Chuana from Salernitana, Noslin from Hellas Verona, 2 right wingers. Curious to see how they make that work. And they signed Deli Bashiru from Hatayspor. I think, was he Watford originally? Or have I made that up? I want to say he was definitely in the Premier. Oh, he was City. He was City and then Sheffield Wednesday. City and then, who am I thinking that was at? Watford. It doesn't really matter. Oh, it's his brother, isn't it? Tom. Yeah. His brother is Tom Deli Bashiru, who was also in the City Academy, went to Watford, still at Watford, actually. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Did they do anything else? Castrovilli on a free from Fiorentina is a really good get. Nuno Tavares on loan from Arsenal. Artistico from Francavilla on free. We'll see what happens with him. Fiorentina. Pongracic from Lecce, I'm not overly keen on. Moise Keane, I mean, is he ever going to live up to potential? Amir Richardson, I do like. And Andrea Colpani from Monza on a loan with an obligation. They also signed Nicolas Valentini, a centre-back from Boca Juniors, on a free. And I don't think he's going to arrive till January. Torino, Duvan Zapata, that's a permanent deal after a loan. Saul Coco from Las Palmas. Adam Messena, formerly of Watford. Hilaire from Benevito. And Che Adams on a free is a decent enough deal. Napoli, I'm still surprised they were able to get Buongiorno from Torino. I think that's a great signing for them. Spinazzola in on a free, and they also got Rafa Marin, a very, very highly regarded Spanish centre-back from Real Madrid. Now, Real have a buyback that's very affordable, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if that one ends up where he goes back in 2 years. But Buongiorno is a really good get, a really, really good get. Genoa, Vitinha in from Marseille. Coney de Winter, that's a former loan been converted into a permanent deal. Martin Tornsby arrives from Union Berlin. Emil Bohinen from Salernitana, I quite like that one. Galini comes in on loan from Atalanta, not keen. Zanoli comes in on loan from Napoli, not ideal. He's young enough, we'll see. But I am concerned. Lost our goalkeeper. Lost the player I thought was going to be our best forward this year. Now, we still have decent forwards. But, yeah, still not ideal. And that's basically all the big clubs. So let's move on. The Bundesliga doesn't come back until the weekend beginning the 24th. Actually kicks off on the 23rd with Gladbach against Leverkusen. So we'll have a look at that maybe next week. There's no real point in delving too much into it right now. La Liga comes back tomorrow. Athletic Club de Bilbao against Getafe is a 6 p.m. kickoff to start your La Liga season. Then Real Betis take on Girona at 8:30. On Friday, 6 p.m., Celta Vigo against Alaves. 8:30, Las Palmas against Sevilla. On Saturday, Osasuna and Leganes is the 6 p.m. game. Valencia-Barcelona is the 8:30 game. On Sunday, Real Sociedad play Rayo Vallecano at 6. Mallorca host Real Madrid at 8:30. And on Monday, Valladolid against Espanyol at 6. Villarreal against Atletico Madrid at 8:30. That's brilliantly spaced out. Absolutely brilliantly spaced out. Over 5 days. You can watch every single game. Tremendous stuff. Well done, La Liga, for such good planning. Now, let's have a look at the transfers for this window. So, we will begin with Atletico Madrid. Obviously, Julian Alvarez, Robin Lenormand, Alexander Sorlat. I'm not overly keen on him, but he did end last season in really good form. The Conor Gallagher deal is still up in the air. We'll see what happens, and they are apparently exploring a couple of other moves. Barcelona, Dani Olmo, but they haven't been able to register him yet. Pau Victor is the only other signing thus far. Comes in from Girona for about 2 million. Real Madrid, Endrick and Kylian Mbappe. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad at all. And when you look at the sales, Rafa Marin, Juanmi, Joselu, they've only actually spent about 28 million to get Endrick and Mbappe. Now, of course, Huge signing bonus for Mbappe, enormous wages, agent fees, consultancy fees, all the rest. But just in terms of raw transfers, transfer numbers, it is just a bit ridiculous to look at and say, oh, you paid about 27 million and you got Endrick and Mbappe. Fair play to you. Real Betis. So they signed Chadi Riyad and then immediately sold him to Barcelona. Marc Roca is in. Roman Perot is in. Diego Llorente is in. A lot of shopping from the Premier League. Obviously, Roca was there last year on loan. Iker Losada comes in from Racing Ferrol. Adrian joins from Liverpool on a free. Ricardo Rodriguez joins from Torino on a free. Sevilla, Lucian Agome comes in from Inter Milan. That's a really good get at a cheap price. Pique Fernandez joins from Racing Santander. Young striker. See how he does. Alvaro Fernandez comes in from Huesca on a free. Ijuke comes in from CSKA Moscow on a free. Kelechi Iheanacho is there now. And they loan in Saul and Albert Sambi Lakonga, and we'll see how they get on. Real Sociedad, they signed Luka Sukic from Salzburg. I really like that deal. Signed Sergio Gomez from Man City and Javi Lopez from Alves. 2 left backs. I'm guessing Gomez might play left wing, to be honest. Athletic Bilbao, Alvaro Jallo, left winger from Braga, comes in. He obviously has Basque roots. And Andoni Gorosabel comes in from Alves, a right back on a free transfer. Celta Vigo signed Unai Nunes from Bilbao. Valencia, Dani Gomez on loan from Levante. Stole Dimitrievski, the Macedonian, isn't he Macedonian? Goalkeeper, North Macedonia, I think we have to call them now. Goalkeeper from Rayo Vallecano on a free. And Rafa Mir joins from Sevilla on loan, which is actually a decent get. But once again, Peter Lim just being an incredibly miserable man. Villarreal signed Willy Kamwala from United. Diego Conde, goalkeeper from Leganes. Ayoze Perez comes in from Real Betis. Sergi Cardona arrives from Las Palmas on a free. Nicola Pepe arrives from Trabzonspor on a free. And Pape Gay arrives from Marseille on a free. And I think that's actually the best signing they've made this summer. I did want to quickly just look at Girona's summer. Let's have a look. Where is that's there about there? So they sign Abel Ruiz from Braga, decent. Ladislav Kreshki from Sparta Prague, don't know much about him, 25-year-old centre-back. Alejandro Frances from Real Zaragoza, 21-year-old Spanish centre-back. They bring in Donny van de Beek, Gabriel Misahoy from Ajax's academy, Brian Hill on loan, and Oriol Romeo on loan. So they spend around 18 million plus maybe some loan fees. But going out the door, Dovbyk, their number 1, number 9, Alex Garcia, vital in midfield for them. Pau Victor, that young striker that went to Barca. That's tough. You're losing 2 really, really important players. They also lose Savinho, who was there last season, gone to Man City now. They lose Pablo Torre, who was there on loan last season, has gone back to Barca, as has Eric Garcia, and Jan Couto, who was playing a lot of right back for them. So they've lost like 4 or 5 starters and a couple of key squad players. And I'm not sure they've replaced them all that well. That's going to be a tough season for them. I really think that's going to be a tough season for them. Right, the French League also back on Friday. Le Havre versus PSG is the Friday game. That is a 7:45 kickoff. On Saturday, 4 p.m, Brest versus Marseille. 6 p.m, Reims versus Lille. 8 p.m, Monaco Saint-Etienne. On Sunday, 2 p.m, Auxerre versus Nice. 4 p.m. Montpellier, Strasbourg, and Toulouse, Nantes, and Angers, Lens, and then 7:45 Rennes versus Lyon. So not as well spaced out as the La Liga weekend, but not bad at all. Plenty of opportunity to watch plenty of football this weekend if something in the Premier League isn't catching your eye. So, PSG, Jean Neves in, William Pacho in, and Matvei Safonov in, the Russian goalkeeper. It's a really good window of incomes because you didn't overpay for Neves. I think you got Pacho at a great deal. And Safonov is a really talented goalkeeper, but they do already have Donnarumma, so whether or not he plays, we'll see. Monaco. Elena Kenny, the young 17-year-old coming from Royal Antwerp, huge talent. Christian Moisa, 19-year-old centre-back from Toulouse, huge talent. Lamine Camara from Metz, I think maybe the signing of the summer by any team, for 12 million. Thilo Carrere joins from West Ham, obviously a bit older, 27 years of age. But Moisa and Camara, for certain, I think are going to be big talents for them. I haven't seen a huge amount of Elena Kenna. I haven't seen a huge amount, but he is really highly regarded. Brest signed Julien Le Cardinal, Jordan Amavi on a free. Ludovic Yorka on loan from Mainz is a good signing, proven goal scorer. And Abdullah Ndiaye, the centre-back from Troyes on loans, could be decent for them as well. Thought they might spend a bit more, just considering how good they were last year. Lille, Sarui comes in from Herenveen, the winger. Mekue from Michelin, defensive midfielder, 19 years of age. Ethan Mbappe, younger brother of Kylian, he joins on a free. Thomas Meunier arrives on a free. And Issa Mandi arrives on a free from Villarreal. It's a decent enough window for Lille without spending a whole lot of money. They obviously sold Lenny Yoro. It's a huge profit for them in this summer. But obviously they've been in financial trouble for a few years, so it needed to be done. Nice, Jonathan Klaus in from Marseille, Morgan Sanson from Villa. Ndombele on a free is a gamble worth taking, but it's quite a cheap window considering they sold Kefren Turam and John Clark Tadibo also left. They also obviously lost their manager as well. So I think we could see a bit of a fall off from Nice. It's pretty clear that attention has been diverted from them to United with Ineos. Lyon have been very busy. So Moussa Niakate in, Ernest Nuama in on a permanent deal. Mangala deal becomes permanent after a loan last year. Mikitadze in from Metz was brilliant in the Euros. Benrahma deal becomes a permanent. That's a decent one. Abner joins from Real Betis. Mama Balde joins from Troyes. Duje Kletekar had been there on loan. That's now a permanent deal to bring him there. And that's pretty much your lot. Jake O'Brien obviously leaves and Skelly Alvaro leaves, but I don't think they'll be missing him because I don't think he will play the whole lot. Johan Lepennant going on loan to Nantes is just very interesting because I think he's a big talent. And he's another example of one of these players at Lyon who doesn't develop. Thankfully, he's gotten away from them for a year, so I'm really hopeful it goes well. But I'm looking at Ernest Nuama. I'm wondering what his future is going to be because he's a huge talent. I just don't like him being at Lyon, given recent years. Lens signed Chavez from Bahia. He's a left back. Hervé Kofi, goalkeeper from Charleroi. Ojediran, defensive midfielder, Nigerian from Debrecen in Hungary. Don't know anything about him. Sidi Bane, who's a Senegalese centre-back coming in from Bata in Bulgaria. Malang Sarr on a free is a decent enough one to get. And Marseille then. So Mason Greenwood and El Youahi. Two dreadful sets of lads. But two very, very talented players. They also bring in Ismail Akone, who's a magnificent midfielder. Bamo Miete for 10 million from Lorient is a really good get-it centre-back. Not a big fan of Geronimo Rulli and how he's developed over the years, but he comes in from Ajax after a fairly miserable season there. Derek Cornelius comes in from Malmo. He's a Canadian centre-back. They also signed Jeffrey DeLang, who's another goalkeeper. He comes in from Go Ahead Eagles. But the big get for them is Valentin Carboni. So, despite the fact that Greenwood and Wahi are dreadful sets of lads, they've signed 5 outstanding young footballers. Greenwood, regardless of anything else, is an outstanding footballer. El Youahi is an outstanding footballer. Ismail Akone, Bamo Miete, and Valentin Carboni are outstanding footballers. It is a very impressive window for Marseille. And, when you look at what's going out the door, Njai, Vitinha, Sarr, Guendouzi, Aubameyang, Klaus, they've pretty much made their money back, gotten younger, and I think gotten better as well. So I think huge credit goes to them. Reims' only signing was Cedric Sippe, who comes in on a free from West Brom, which will say a lot about the ambition of that club. Rennes, who are always interesting to monitor. So Albert Grönbach, central midfielder, Danish, coming in from Bodo Glimt. Glenn Kamara arriving from Leeds. Leo Ostergaard from Napoli. I actually think low-key that's a good signing. Jordan James from Birmingham has a chance to be very good. Keep an eye on him. And Hans Hetteborg finally leaves Atalanta to join Rennes for about 2 million. Mohamed Jaoub comes in from Amiens, young centre-back, don't know anything about him. Toulouse signed Charlie Cresswell from Leeds, and Djibril Sidibe returns to France after some time with AEK Athens on a free. Montpellier have not signed anybody. Strasbourg and Caleb Wiley in on a loan. Papa Diong, defensive midfielder, Senegalese, comes in from a Senegalese club. Oscar Pereira, a young Colombian winger, comes in from Athletic Nacional. Guela Diao, who's the older brother of Desiree Diao, or Desiree Diou, he leaves Rennes to join Strasbourg as well. And Felix Lamarchelle comes in from Monaco, and a young attacking midfielder. We'll see if he develops. That's where we will leave the French league. And then, so that's France, Spain, Italy. Germany's next weekend. England is this weekend. Who am I missing? Portugal. So their league is back. Their league began last weekend. Sporting beat Rio Ave 3-1. AVS and Nacional played at a 1-1 draw. Casapia lost 1-0 at home to Boa Vista. Porto beat Gil Vicente 3-0. Estoril Playa lost 4-1 at home to Santa Clara. Firenze and lost 2-1 at home to Moronense. Famalicão beat Benfica 2-0 in what was quite the shock, and immediately sends Benfica into chaos, is about the only way to describe it, based on what I saw online. Braga and Estrela played at a 1-1 draw, and then Arouca lost 1-0 at home to Vitória. This weekend, on Friday, it is Santa Clara at home to Porto, a 5 p.m. kickoff, and then Gil Vicente home to AVS at 8:15. On Saturday, 3 games. 3:30 Rio Ave versus Firenze, 6 p.m. Nacional against Sporting, 8:30 Benfica Casapia. On Sunday, 3 games. 3:30 Moronense Arouca, 6 p.m. Vitória Estrela, 8:30 is Boa Vista Braga, and Monday 8:15 Estrela versus Famalicão. So let's have a look at their transfers. It's only really, 5 clubs that we'll look at. Big 3. Well, actually, the big 3 plus Braga is 4. Boa Vista would have been the 5th one, but also Famalicão are worth looking at because they are a decent team. Okay, let's find Famalicão. They bring in Gil Diaz from Stuttgart. Rachina arrives on a free. Matthias de Amorim arrives on a free. Rodrigo Pinheiro arrives on a free. Ibrahim Abba arrives on a free. And Tom Vanderlooy arrives on a free. They also signed Duda, I think, on loan from Sporting's reserves. Cerezo is from Bragantino. I think that's also a free. And then Caligari comes in from Fluminense on loan. And Mario Gonzalez from LAFC on a loan. Okay, so that's them. Boa Vista signed Ibrahim Hassan from Beerschot on a free. And Bruninho on loan from Atletico Mineiro in Brazil. That's 2 down. Rio Ave. Oli Pullman went there. Interesting. Anyway. Benfica. So Pavlidis comes in from Alkmaar. They sign Rollheiser from Estudiantes. They sign Besta from Heidenheim. Decent left back. Alvaro Carreras, who was there on loan last year, that becomes a permanent deal. And they also sign Leandro Barreiro from Mainz. They got Renato Sanchez on loan in the João Neves transfer. Vitória Guimarães, they signed Jesus Ramirez and a bunch of frees. Estoril Praia. Okay, Braga have been busy. Some big sales, obviously. Jallo went to Bilbao. Rodrigo Gomes went to Wolves. And Al Maserati went to Besiktas. So they had plenty of money at their disposal. They also sold Abel Ruiz to Girona. So they bring in Bright Array Mabi from Hanover. Thiago Helguera from Nacional in Uruguay. Keep an eye on him. I think he's going to be a really, really good defensive midfielder. Jean Marquez arrives from Estrela. Amin El-Ozani comes in from Guaincamp. He's a decent forward. Roberto Fernandez comes in from Malaga. Bartolomej Dowick comes in from a Polish club. Robson Bamboo comes in from Nice, and Gabriel Martinez joins from Girona on a free. So just leaves us with Porto and Sporting. So here's Porto. Francisco Conceição comes in from Ajax. He'd been there on loan. Obviously, he was there before, went to Ajax, didn't work out, and now rejoined them on loan and is back. Currently, the only departure thus far, Mehdi Taremi. I think they've still got business to do, though, because Pepe retired, which is a big blow for them. Sporting. So Fatua left. Paulinho left. Sebastian Coates went home to Uruguay. They loaned out Ruben Venegra, Alexandropoulos, and Pantello. But coming in the door, Vladan Kovacevic, who is a Bosnian goalkeeper, I believe. He's come in from Rakow in Poland. He's quite highly thought of. Though he is 26, he's older than I thought he was. His name's been going around for about a year or two of this keeper to keep an eye on, but 26, I'm not going to get too excited about him. But I do really like the signing of Zeno de Bast. I think Zeno de Bast is an excellent get, and if their back three is de Bast, Diamande, and Inacio, that's excellent. That is absolutely excellent. Still some question marks about their wing-backs. We'll see what happens. They've got their goalkeeper sorted. The midfield is anchored by Hillman, which is, a really, really good player to have. And then obviously they've got Gyökeres up front. So I think right now I'd probably make Sporting favourite to go and win the title again. and win a third for Amorim, go back-to-back. But yeah, should be a good season. Lots of leagues in action this weekend. If you're not fancying the Premier League, you're not stuck with it. I will be back after this break.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right, welcome back. So, obviously the lower leagues returned in English football at the weekend, the Championship, League One, League Two, and the National League. But last night, we got the return of the EFL Cup for this season. Lots of games, so we'll quickly rattle through them. Stoke City 2, Carlisle 0 in Carlisle. Stockport 1, Blackburn Rovers 6. Sammy Smodics with 2 there. I really don't see him being at Blackburn by the time the window closes. Barrow 3, Port Vale 2. Bolton 1, Mansfield 1. Bolton go through 5-4 on penalties. Burton Albion 0, Blackpool 4. Derby County 2, Chesterfield 1. Fleetwood 2, West Brom 1. So there's our first big upset. League 2 Fleetwood beating Championship West Brom. Grimsby and Bradford ended a 1-1 draw. Grimsby won 9-8 on penalties. Huddersfield 3, Morecambe 0. Lincoln 1, Harrogate 2. That's League 2 beating League 1. Preston 2, Sunderland 0. Rotherham 2, Crewe Alexandra 1. Salford 0, Doncaster Rovers 2. Yet another defeat for Gary Neville's beloved Salford. Shrewsbury and Notts County played out a 3-3 draw, and Shrewsbury went through 4-3 on penalties. Tranmere 3, Accrington Stanley 0. Wigan 1, Barnsley 1. Barnsley go through 4-2 on penalties. Sheffield United 4, Wrexham 2. So, in some ways, that's a bit of a giant killing given what's behind Wrexham, but Sheffield United, obviously the better team, Championship team coming down from the Premier League, as opposed to League One team coming up from League Two. That's the northern section, and tonight in the northern section, it's Hull versus Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds versus Middlesbrough. So 2 interesting games there. In the southern section, Leyton Orient 4, Notts County 1. Bristol City 0, Coventry 1. Bromley 1, AFC Wimbledon 2. Cambridge 1, QPR 2. Cardiff City 2, Bristol Rovers 3. Sorry, Bristol Rovers 0. Bristol Rovers 0. Charlton Athletic 0, Birmingham City 1. Colchester 2, Reading 2. Colchester win 4-3 on penalties. That's League 2 over League 1. Crowley 4, Swindon 2. Northampton 0, Wickham 2. Norwich 4, Stevenage 3. Oxford 2, Peterborough 0. Portsmouth 0, Millwall 1. Swansea 3, Gillingham 1. Walsall 1, Exeter 1. Walsall win 4-3 on penalties. Again, that's League 2 over League 1. Watford beat MK Dons 5-0. So another good result for Tom Cleverley after the weekend. Tom Ince there with a hat-trick. And tonight, Plymouth against Cheltenham Town in the southern section. So this is the first round of the EFL Cup, and the second round will take place the week commencing 26th of August. That will see the introduction of 13 Premier League clubs and 2 more from the Championship. That would be Burnley and Luton, the teams that basically finished 18th and 19th in the Premier League last season. So 15 more clubs to come in the next round, and then we will get the rest of the Premier League teams coming in round 3. So that is the state of play with the EFL Cup. There is also Champions League action taking place. So the first qualifying round took place on the 16th and 17th of July. The second qualifying round was the 23rd and 24th of July. The third qualifying round took place on the I've completely lost my train of thought here because there's 2 legs in all of them, so I've butchered that. Let me go back and do that. So first qualifying round, 9th and 10th for the first leg, 16, 17 for the second leg. Second qualifying round was the 23rd and 24th for the first leg, the 30th and 31st for the second leg, and the third qualifying round is just completed last night. So the first legs were the 6 and 7, and the second legs were all last night. So in the Champions path, so this is obviously teams that won their league but are not of a high enough coefficient to get a group stage berth. Qarabag beat Ludogorets 8-4 on aggregate. That ended 7-2 last night, which is mental because it went to extra time. So Ludogorets had won the first leg 2-1. Qarabag won the second leg 2-1, went to penalties, and then there were 6 more goals. Went to extra time and there were 6 more goals. Bananas. Slovan Bratislava beat Apoel Limassol 2-0 on aggregate. Sparta Prague knocked out the club formerly known as Steaua Bucharest 4-3 on aggregate. Malmo overcome PAOK of Greece 6-5 on aggregate, 4-3 last night after extra time. Midtjylland knocked out Ferencváros 3-1 on aggregate. And Bodo Glimt beat a team from Poland whose name I'm not even going to attempt, 5-1 on aggregate. So that's the Champions path. Then from the league path, so this is leagues that have more than one team getting in, but again, not a high enough coefficient to get 2 teams automatically in. So Slavia Prague beat Union Saint-Gilloise, owned by Tony Bloom, 4-1 on aggregate. Lille knock out Fenerbahce and Jose Mourinho 3-2 on aggregate after extra time. Dynamo Kiev beat Rangers 3-1 on aggregate, and Red Bull Salzburg beat Twente 5-4 on aggregate. So they move on, and now we have the playoff round set. The first legs will be the 20th and 21st of August. The second legs will be the 27th and 28th of August. So in the Champions path, Young Boys of Bern against Galatasaray. That should be really interesting. Dinamo Zagreb against Qarabag. Midtjylland against Slovan Bratislava. Bodo Glimt against Red Star Belgrade. Malmo against Sparta Prague. And then in the league path, it's Lille against Slavia Prague and Dynamo Kiev against Red Bull Salzburg. So all of that should be quite interesting. The teams we know that are already qualified: Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, Liverpool, Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, Barcelona. That's going to be pot 1. Pot 2, Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, Atalanta, Juve, Benfica, Arsenal, Club Brugge, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Milan. Pot 3 will have Feyenoord, Sporting, PSV, Celtic. 3 winners from the Champions path and 1 winner from the league path. There is 1 winner from the Champions path and 1 winner from the league path whose path is not decided as yet. They could be pot 3, they could be pot 4, depending on who comes through. And then in pot 4, we know there will be Monaco, Aston Villa, Bologna, Girona, Stuttgart, Sturm Graz, and Brest, plus 1 winner from the Champions path. And all of this will play out over the next 9 months or so, leading to a final on the 31st of May at the Alliance Arena in Munich. They were meant to get it, I think, last year, the year before, but then COVID pushed everything back. So the Alliance Arena has it this year. The Europa League and the Conference League are also ongoing. There's games being played today. There's a ton of games being played tomorrow. They're also at the third qualifying round in the Europa League. So there's too many games to just start rattling them off, but they'll play the third qualifying round, and then there is the playoff round as well, and you'll have teams dropping in that didn't make the Champions League. They'll start to parachute in here, and then teams that drop out of the Europa League will drop into the playoff round of the Conference League. And again, loads and loads of games, far too many to actually be getting into in the third qualifying round. A bit of a mess is the Europa Conference League, but so be it. The UEFA, or the Europa League this year, I call it the UEFA Cup every so often, San Mamés in Bilbao will host the final. A very fitting venue. Gorgeous stadium, gorgeous city. The Conference League final will be in Wrocław in, I'm sure I said that wrong, in Poland at their stadium there, which holds 42,771, which is obviously a good uptick from where last year's final was. That's pretty good. That final is the 28th. The Europa League final is the 21st. Like I say, the Champions League final is the 31st. So that's all the football caught up on. So I'll be back after the break with some gossip. See you in a sec. Right, welcome back. So we might as well check in and see what the latest news. David Ornstein reporting that Arsenal are stepping up efforts to sign Mikel Merino. Talks ongoing, and Edu has been in Spain this week to pursue an agreement. Personal terms, no issue. Likely needs an exit from Arsenal first, whether before or after. Now, I did say Arsenal are sell to buy this summer. People thought I was mental, but no, I was right all along, because they just spend so much. It's not that they can't afford to buy the players, it's that they don't have the space under profit and sustainability. Wilfried Zaha resumes training with Galatasaray in absence of exit deal. Premier League comeback in jeopardy due to tax implications of return from Turkey. Leicester have worked on a deal and Crystal Palace have explored, but for now, doubtful. All right, that's it from Mr. Ornstein, but Fabrication will have loads for us. Xherdan Shaqiri available as a free agent as he just terminated his contract at Chicago Fire. Mutual agreement, and Shaqiri now able to pick his next club. AC Milan have submitted an improved bid to sign Yusuf Fofana. €20 million fixed fee plus difficult add-ons. Monaco are looking for 25 million and easy add-ons. So still quite a way to go there. Desiree Doué is confirmed to PSG. Napoli expect 2 outgoings this week. Nothing to join Real Betis. That one's been in the works a while. Jens Cahoos to Ipswich Town. That's a really good get for Ipswich. Looked like he was going to Brentford, but it appears that now Ipswich are the team in for him. Liverpool potential plan for Georgi Mamardashvili already clear. He joined Bournemouth on loan for 1 season and then formally joined Liverpool from 2025. Now, my understanding is that he cannot be signed by Liverpool and then go to Bournemouth on loan. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Maybe he goes on loan to Bournemouth just for the year and Liverpool do a deal where they'll just sign him next summer from Valencia. I don't know, but as far as I'm aware, he cannot be signed by Liverpool and immediately loaned to another Premier League team. I could be wrong on that, and I'm happy to be corrected. I think that's the situation. Juventus confirm Wojciech Szczesny's contract terminated on mutual agreement. He's now available as a free agent. Negotiations between Chelsea and Atletico Madrid are still ongoing after the Amora Dion deal fell away. And Gallagher is now back. Conor Gallagher is now back in London. The two clubs are still trying to find a new agreement for Conor Gallagher. João Felix remains part of the discussion, but no breakthrough yet. Haris Brunner has arrived at AS Monaco to take his medical, very talented young German who will go on loan to Cercle Bruges. Marcelo Brozovic has retired from international football. Bruno Fernandes has signed a 1-year extension at Manchester United. Saudi side Al Quadza are working on an agreement for Paulo Dybala on a 3-year contract. Okay. Eduardo Camavinga set to miss 6 to 7 weeks with a knee injury. Chelsea want to give Nicholas Jackson a new contract. I'm not sure why. Saint Etienne have submitted a bid for Fode Ballo-Touré from AC Milan. Fair enough. William Troost Ekong is on his way to Saudi Arabia to join Al Khaloud. Miguel Almiron's deal to Charlotte FC has collapsed. That's him and Calvin Stengs that they thought they had signed, and both deals have fallen apart. Yeah, that is everything there. So let us get up the gossip and see what else is doing the rounds. There. Right, first thing I see here is about Ivan Toney. Brentford are holding out for at least 60 million for 28-year-old Ivan Toney, who's been monitored by Chelsea and Manchester United. I understand, but he's out of contract in a year. So I'm not sure you can do that, being honest. Ajax are interested in signing Aaron Ramsdale. David Ornstein reported on this yesterday. He said it was a loan offer and Arsenal turned it down. Arsenal are considering a move for Espanyol's Jon Garcia as Ajax ponder a new offer. Ajax cannot afford to buy Ramsdale, so unless Arsenal will accept a loan, he's not going there. Real Madrid will not allow Vinicius Jr. to leave for the Saudi Pro League, even if they receive a world record fee. Vinicius Jr. is not going to go to the Saudi League at 24 years of age. Al Ittihad do not want to sell N'Golo Kante. Bournemouth are targeting Eddie Howe. I have doubts. Who's the journalist on that one? Brighton have made an approach for Olivier Buscagli, but PSV want more than they've offered. A solid enough centre-back would help them, I suppose. It's Simon Jones. He's hit and miss. Leicester have made a $4 million offer from Jordan Ayew. Chelsea want to hand Nicholas Jackson a 2-year contract extension. You'd swear he scored 30 goals last year. Everton have had a £24 million bid, including add-ons, rejected for Vitor Roque. It's from Sky Germany. I'm inclined to say it's not true. Manchester United are interested in Marcus Alonso. Well, that would be bizarre. Ben Davies is likely to see out the final year of his contract at Tottenham rather than look for a move elsewhere this summer. Napoli and RB Leipzig are leading the race to sign Samu Amora Dion. I suppose if Napoli can't get the Lukaku deal done, it would make sense, but he's not ready-made and proven, which is what Conte wants. At Leipzig, I could see, but Leipzig also have Openda and who's the other striker they have? The Slovenian kid? I can't remember his name. That's very, very annoying. Big tall fella, it's like 6'4". What is his name? Benjamin Sesko. They also still own Andre Silva as well, who I assume will leave on loan, or a permanent ideally. So I have doubts over that being true. It's also Football Insider, so it's probably garbage. Getafe are interested in taking Ashley Phillips on loan from Tottenham this year. Very, very promising centre-back. 2 Premier League clubs have asked Southampton about the availability of Carlos Alcaraz. I have to say I would take him at Liverpool. I know it's not necessarily a position of need, but I would take him at Liverpool without question. Brentford are closing in on a deal to sign Dara O'Shea, which will give Burnley a profit on the $7 million they paid to sign him from West Brom last summer. It's Mike McGrath and John Percy, which means he can take it to the bank. I think that's a pretty good signing for them. I think he's a good centre-back. I think he improves them. They definitely needed a centre-back. And, you know, they'll have him and Nathan Collins, so the two Irish lads together. And if I look at Burnley, they've got other centre-back options. They do have multiple other centre-back options, in fairness. So Esteve obviously will be one starter, but like Ekdal, centre-back, Championship, he'd be fine. Al-Dakhil, centre-back, yeah, absolutely good enough. Luke McNally, I'd potentially give him an opportunity. Jordan Byers, the one that likely becomes the starter next to Esteve. He was great the last time during the Championship. Struggled in the Premier League, but absolutely good enough for the Championship. And then Hannes Delacroix, I assume, is just a backup for Esteve as that kind of left-footed centre-back. But yeah, I mean, they're still well flush with centre-backs as things currently stand. I do wonder what happens with James Trafford, though, because they signed Etienne Green from St Etienne. He's very good. They signed Hladecki, who was with Ipswich. I assume he's in to be the backup, but Etienne Green, I would have thought, was signed to be the starter. So James Trafford, I think, might leave. Dara O'Shea seems will leave. And I think Sander Berge will also leave. That's it. That's all I've got today, folks. I'll see you all tomorrow. We're counting down the days. And by tomorrow, we'll actually be counting down the hours to the kickoff in the Premier League. See you soon. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.